Today's film for the 100 Years of Columbia Pictures is another Spider-Man film, and it is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, if you're wondering, yeah, I'm doing the first Tobey Spider-Man film, the second Andrew Garfield movie, and the third Tom Holland movie of Spider-Man. So that was intentional for the second movie to be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So in this film, Andrew Garfield stars as Peter Parker, who after seeing so many visions of the father of Mr. Stacy, the father of Gwen Stacy, who died in the first one, he feels like he needs to break up with Gwen Stacy, played by Emma Stone. And then later, but during this opening fight with the Russian gangsters, he says a guy played by Jamie Foxx named Max Dillon, who says I need you. And Max feels happy about it and is celebrating his birthday and was working on Oscorp with his eels, but falls down to a water of eels, which causes him to become Electro. Meanwhile, Harry Osborn, after his father's death, is Peter Parker's best friend, is dying and wants to have Spider-Man's blood. But Spider-Man rejects him, and this Harry Osborn causes anger and revenge on Spider-Man, and teams up with Electro to destroy him, to which he later becomes the Green Goblin. And during those events, despite their breakup, Peter still has feelings for Gwen, and they still have fun together. And at the bridge, they romance together again. And I know that this show is like the most underwhelming Spider-Man film, like I think more than Spider-Man 3. And this film was supposed to be like the start of a Spider-Man shared universe before it was canceled, and before the Sony Marvel universe starting with Venom, Morbius, Madam Web, and Craven. And I thought this film was pretty decent. First off, I do like Peter and Gwen in this movie. They're good together because even though they broke up, they still have a nice hangout with eating ice cream for a little bit, and then having a talk with them, and then kissing during the Oscorp place where he tricks three guards, and after Peter having a conversation with Harry Osborn before Harry talks to Gwen at the bridge, when Spider-Man says "I love you" during the bridge, it's pretty cute when they start talking to each other and form a romance once again. And Gwen helps Spider-Man get better web shooters to stop Electro, and Gwen destroys the energy of Electro, who destroyed every electricity in the universe of New York City. So I do like Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy's relationship in this movie. That's my favorite part of the movie. They're good together. And it was very sad that she was killed during their final battle at the clock tower. And Peter Parker felt sadness and pain. But then later, after listening to Gwen's speech during the graduation on the computer, he becomes Spider-Man once again for her. And was fighting Rhino, but never know who win. Because they would never resolve again until No Way Home. I thought the villains were pretty decent. Harry Osborn had a pretty decent origin of how he went from an interesting businessman and Peter Parker's best friend to a painful, angry psycho who wants Spider-Man's blood and later teams up with Electro to destroy him. and becomes a Green Goblin in order to destroy him once and for all. And I think his costume looks a little ugly. It looks kind of weird. I do prefer the Asian Goblin outfit, or the new Goblin outfit from Spider-Man 3, more than this one. It looks a little weird. But I do like Harry Osborn's change from a decent guy to a very demonic man. And Electro is an interesting one because he is a fan of Spider-Man. But when Spider-Man took over the fame during the New York fight scene between him and Electro, Electro feels anger and this was attacking Spider-Man, but then was sent to prison for a text till saved by Harry Osborn, and then later destroys every electricity until Spider-Man tries to stop him, but Electro is getting a lot powerful more until Gwen Stacy stops him and boom, explodes to death. And I really like his voice when he turns to Electro, like,
"Do you remember me, Spider-Man? Not this time."
It's very awesome, intimidating. And Jamie Foxx is a really good Electro. And I really like Spider-Man's costume in this movie. It looks pretty cool. It's like one of the more interesting suits. I thought the Amazing Spider-Man 2012 version, I thought it looked even cooler because of how different it looks. And yeah, there's no surprising that it feels weird that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is more lighthearted than The Amazing Spider-Man, where it feels a lot more grittier. So it feels weird that the first one is much grittier, more serious, but the other one is more lighthearted, though it's still quite dramatic and serious still. Especially at the end. And thought the score of the movie is pretty legit. I thought the score was pretty awesome, especially the main one that was used during Spider-Man's introduction. I thought the opening of Ben Parker and not Ben Parker, like the parents of Peter Parker who left at the first film was an interesting one. It didn't need to fully be long, but it served the plot, especially when the father was making a video of it. And Peter saw it as halfway through the movie. And it's a good way to start the movie. It serves the plot. Especially since they was using a briefcase that Peter was missing a lot of it. I do like when every scene of Spider-Man saving the day, where he helps a kid with his wing power experiment, and when he saves someone stops a robber in a bank while still being sick. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So what do you think of it? So let me know.